Your station for new and original, raw and uncut talent. Talk, politics, and music.
Cha 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 cha. Welcome back to Politics as Usual. I'm your host, Eric Wright. We are here on True Executive Radio, where we bring you the hottest topics, things that's going on in our community, stuff that we need to talk about, give it the black perspective, or just talk about it in general, just to see where we land at on it and kind of jar our thought process on what we think. True Executive Radio, politics as usual. There's one show on True Executive Radio. In the future, we look to have different kind of shows, and we're gonna advertise those on each episode, let you know what's going on. So we're gonna keep you involved. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk some politics. Okay, I'm gonna take you to Minnesota first. In 2004, a 16-year-old in Minnesota was arrested for killing a man at a flower shop. Now, he was arrested and convicted of murder. Now, in this case, there was no forensic evidence, there was no fingerprints, there was no gun, there was no video, there was no DNA. But the 16-year-old was coached into taking a plea deal, and of course, he went to prison. Okay, I'm bringing this up because of 3 days ago. It's 2023, and it is December. As of 3 days ago, this man has been released from prison. Marvin Hayes. He's now 35 years old. This man was robbed of the best years of his life. No childhood, no high school, no sports, no high school sweetheart. It's another instance where our justice system has taken too long to correct things that they have gotten wrong. They absolutely fumbled this. And this man spent most of his time from 16 to 35 behind bars. We want to keep our thoughts and prayers with Mr. Hayes. Not only that, we want to hope that his journey is never diminished. Now that he is out and he is trying to get a footing on life, we hope that he's able to adjust and never have to be incarcerated again. I know that many years, that man needs support. He needs help. So the community in Minnesota, look out for Mr. Hayes. Now, this is a good segue, and I want to talk about something that happened in the last week here in Montgomery, Alabama. In the last week, I call it the week that music died. Uh, we had two deaths, and they were both music artists. One, Mr. AJ Hebrew, call him Maestro because the boy could play anything: saxophone, drum, um, guitar, piano. What if it made a tune? He could play it, and I had the pleasure of not only witness him doing his craft, but I had a personal relationship with him because years ago when I opened a insurance agency, one of my first customers was AJ, and he remained a customer, a policy holder within my agency for years until I decided to close that agency and work for the state of Alabama, monitoring insurance. But this was one of my first customers, and I remember each vehicle that he purchased. I remember every time making sure that he was covered, the conversations and everything, and just want to give a quick shout out to him. Tell his family they have my deepest condolences, and if there's anything possible that I may could do, the right family can do, my tribe can do, just let us know because he was a close friend of myself and my brothers, being musicians also they have a close relationship with him. The second person is Miss Mary Jane. She's a local rapper here in Montgomery. She was on Rap Sardines, the In the Cut videos, and somebody that can really, really flow. We lost both of them this week, and I just want to give them that shout out to let them know that you may be gone, but you'll never be forgotten. Let's go to the next topic. And this next topic, it is an absolute heartbreaking story. So the headline reads: A miscarriage launched an investigation. A miscarriage launched the investigation. Now, just to give you some quick background, you know, black women are 43% more likely to have miscarriages than any other race of people. So let's keep that in mind, that this is something that happens a lot in the black community and is heartbreaking when it does happen. And the road to recovery is sometimes long. So let's keep that in mind. But getting back to the story, Ohio resident in the latest incident connected with wider concern of criminalization of pregnant women and women in postpartum. A 33-year-old woman out of Warren, Ohio, was charged with a felony abuse of a corpse, and her case will be presented before a grand jury. The authority alleged that Watts left the remains of a fetus in a toilet after she had a miscarriage. She was 22 weeks pregnant at the time. She said it felt like the baby was coming out. There was a splash, and all she could do is cry. Now, the forensic pathologist said that the fetus was non viable and it wasn't going to be viable at all because she had premature labor. It ruptured her membranes and her water broke early. So, this is something that she couldn't control and had no control over it. The fetus was too young to be delivered. So, it died. Reports also say that she went to the ER multiple times before this incident happened. But she is now facing a grand jury about the remains of a corpse. And she's facing jail time as we speak. So this is a black woman that's 33 years old that couldn't control that she had a miscarriage, and she is now being prosecuted for it. These are topics that we have to talk about in the black community, regardless of if we want to if we want to accept that these things are happening. I can't imagine the thought process that the mother would be going through right now at 33 years of age, and of course, the statistics being against black women, that's definitely something that's going to take years for her to even accept and come to terms with. And to think while she's doing this, she's currently being prosecuted for that. So keep the lady in our hearts and minds. And also, when it comes to the topic of criminalization of women when they're pregnant or when they lose a child or a miscarriage, this is something that we should speak up about, and this is something that we should make a habit of. Okay, quick segue for this. And I don't want to talk about this much, but there's a video that's been going on the internet, and this is a black man that's handcuffed, and he gets thrown on top of a vehicle, and he gets tased in the spine, and it is a white police officer, a lady at that, a white female police officer that tells him to shut the fuck up. You're not so big and tough now, and continues to tase the man in his back. Every attorney in the country is now weighing in on this. This happened in a very, very small town of Alabama. If you blink, you'll pass it. You may not even have to blink to pass it. It's called Reform, Alabama. And it's a very small area, and it's southeast Alabama. But this is something that happened and it's been going around. Don't want to shed too much light on it because I absolutely hate these topics. But I gotta let you know that it's still going on. So when you get stopped by the police officers, it'll probably do you best not to agitate them because we don't know the mental stability of the people that are wearing badges. So we want to make sure that we remain safe at all time and do what we have to do. Okay, last topic I'm gonna hit on, and this is something that may strike a nerve with a few people in Alabama, especially Montgomery, Alabama. It should be to the South at whole because this is a thing that's really prevalent now in the South. See, years ago, the great manufacturing towns and cities across America used to be somewhere around Detroit or Ohio, or it would be in Chicago. These are the places where you had so much auto manufacturing going on, and it was a great way for black people that migrated to the South to actually get a leg up, to get into the middle class. And it happened a lot. And they did it because their wages were protected. They had unions, per se. So, giving you that background, now let's get into the headline that I saw. The UAW files a unfair practice against Honda, accusing them of union busting. Now, the UAW filed a unfair labor practice charge against the nation's labor relations board against Hyundai, Volkswagen, and Hyundai. Now, the UAW alleges management at Hyundai confiscated, destroyed, and prohibited pro union material in non work areas and during non work times. These companies are breaking the law in an attempt to get the auto workers to sit down and shut up, said a UWA official. Now, that may be so, especially in Alabama, being a will to work state where they not only think this, they almost demand it of you. Hell, Alabama doesn't even have a minimum wage. If the Fed didn't say you had to pay somebody a certain amount, they'll probably pay you pennies if they could. So let's keep this in mind. I'm on the side of the working class when it comes to this. Um, you got to understand my background. I was in Fort Rucker. That's a military base here in Alabama. And the machinists there that built helicopters, they were on strike for 2 weeks. And every day I drove from Montgomery to Fort Rucker to be with them, to bring food, to bring water, to bring smiles, cheer them up. And when it was time for negotiation time, I sat there with the workers and I also explained the changes to their insurance policies, their health insurance, and other benefits that they had. So you got to understand what side I'm on here. And if I could say anything to anyone working for these companies, I would say this: working for a company, yes, you're working for pay, but I'm also working here because I have to trust a few things. Do I trust that working here won't harm me, danger me, hurt me? Do I trust that the doctors that you have or you send me to have my best interests at heart? Do I trust that you're paying me the rate that you should? Do I trust that you are hired me on even though I've been working here for years? Do I trust you will believe outside doctors when they tell you that I'm actually injured? Hell, do I trust that you'll make a vehicle that won't be stolen because of TikTok challenge? Do I trust? Do I trust that? Do I trust that you won't use me for my best years and discard me? These are the things that we should be asking these companies. And if you have those questions, if you don't trust it, obviously there needs to be union representation. That's something that should happen in the state of Alabama. You got to look at it. Like, why do you think Alabama has so many car manufacturing companies? You have Kia is not too far. You have Hyundai, you have Mercedes Benz, you have Toyota, you have so many manufacturers here. You even have Airbus here. So to think about that, they're here for a reason because we have not had the foundation or the understanding of what a union does and how it can help us and protect us from a lot of these things. Remember, if you can't see through the bullshit, you always get fooled by it. Keep your head on the swivel.